Hey, Frank.
How are you, Megan? We used these dials to indicate whether people liked or disliked what they were listening to. The higher you see the lines climb, the more favorable the reaction. When they go down, that means that our voters didn't like it. The #1 segment of tonight is when Barack Obama talked about tax reform. Let's listen.
Both Democrats and Republicans have argued that our tax code is riddled with wasteful, complicated loopholes that punish businesses investing here and reward companies that keep profits abroad. Let's flip that equation. Let's work together to close those loopholes, end those incentives to ship jobs overseas, and lower tax rates for businesses that create jobs right here at home.
Okay, so tell me, how many of you agree with that statement? Raise your hands. Now remember, this is a very partisan White House, and yet Republicans and Democrats both agreed with that. How come?
I think we're all really tired of seeing so many jobs going overseas and staying overseas and not having opportunities for the children when they get out of school.
Now, you had a positive reaction to that. What about the speech overall?
I wasn't happy with it. I think he basically was very eloquent, but really didn't touch on any of the issues. As far as the taxes, he's had 5 years to do something about it and still has done nothing about it.
Were you guys Obama voters?
I was.
I was too.
And what was your reaction to the speech?
I wish he'd been more fired up.
I agree.
What do you mean fired up?
He just didn't have his passion. The eloquence was there, but I wish he'd said, this is what I want to do, we're going to do it, and give us some deadlines. It was missing for me.
So it wasn't strong enough for you?
It wasn't. It was okay.
Your reaction to the speech?
Yeah, I totally agree. One of the things, I voted for Obama, even though I'm a Republican, because he
you realize that you're in serious trouble.
I know,
now.
but
on national television.
Yes, but he had this fire and brimstone when he ran for president and past speeches, which he seemed tired. He seemed like almost beaten down, and just didn't have the passion that I hope. I like his. We need to do something about taxes. We have the highest corporate tax rate in the world.
I'm going to ask you, do you guys feel he was tired? Did he seem, you agree with this?
I'm the opposite. I'm a Democrat my whole life who voted for Romney. And I think the president's speech was eloquently delivered, as it typically is, but very short on substance. The only new substantive thing he actually mentioned was something he couldn't even pronounce, which is some new IRA provision, which I don't think anybody in this group understood.
Yeah, how many of you had a positive reaction to the MyRA? Who had a positive reaction to it? I'll ask that one more time. Who had a negative reaction to it? Why?
It was cute.
Tell me why. What was wrong with that?
Well, first of all, I don't think he pronounced it right from the beginning. It sounded like he stumbled over it. And then it was, what is it? We didn't know what it was. Savings, our own personal savings, like a 401k. It just didn't make sense. It kind of sort of was put out there, and we were supposed to understand what he meant, but I certainly didn't.
Dave?
It seemed like one of those programs that presidents just reveal for the applause, but there are no details. We have to wait till tomorrow, and I'm left all night scratching my head. What is this?
Kevin, you're one of the younger people here.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. It sounded like somebody from his marketing agency came up with it and kind of gave it to him right before the speech, and even he didn't seem to understand it, and it left us all in the dark.
I also sort of cringed about it because in the back of my mind was another Obamacare. What is this going to be now?
Now, there is another, and I want to go back to the dials because there was another segment that was very negatively received, and that was on health care. Even though it took the president 40 minutes to get to it, when he did start speaking about health care, you all, Republicans and Democrats alike, dialed it down. Let's take a look.
One last point on financial security. For decades, few things exposed hardworking families to economic hardship more than a broken health care system. And in case you haven't heard, we're in the process of fixing that.
So show the American people, how many of you so far have a favorable impression of the president's health care plan? Raise your hands if you're favorable towards it. Only one. But you voted for him. Some of you.
The promise is great. The execution is miserable.
So when he talks about it, you still dial it down, Christian?
I echo Michael's point. Execution failed horribly.
But he's raising it, and he's actually saying that Republicans aren't offering an alternative. That's still good enough for you.
No execution. Seems.
Yeah, I'm not. No, I think for now it's probably not doing so well. But I think the future will bear him out, yes.
I want to know why Democrats, and I want to know why Democrats dialed it down.
We keep talking about the execution. It was a failure, but let's move on. Let's talk about the policy. I have personal experience about this, and I can tell you that the policy itself are horrible. They're double premiums. They're 25 to 50% higher deductibles, and you don't have your doctors in the networks that the insurance companies stuck in on the Obamacare plan.
So you're telling me it's not the style, it's the substance of Obamacare.
That's right. It's not just the execution. In fact, we found that now we can't keep our own doctor. We can't make our own. A lot of the choices have been removed. A lot of people's premiums have gone up, and nothing is what we expected. We were told we could keep our own health plan, and now that's been proved to be an outright lie.
So you lost your health care.
Yeah.
You lost it.
Yes.
They actually sent you a letter saying you are no longer on your plan.
That's correct. Now I have to go through the government system if I'm to find anything.
Well, a lot of it is what he said is actually not true. He said that there's no pre-existing conditions anymore. If you're on Medicare, there are pre-existing conditions. You are asked by the insurance company if you have a pre-existing condition, and if you do, if you want the premium, they double or triple what you're currently paying.
Now, what the president is asking for is patience. Doesn't he deserve time to get it right?
No.
Why not?
I think we're all just kind of tired of it. We're exhausted.
Go ahead.
We've known of the details of this for 2 years now. It was poorly conceived. We were lied to about what was in it. There's been plenty of time.
How many of you say that the time is up on the president's health care plan? Megan, take a look at this. That no matter what you say during the State of the Union address, if it doesn't resonate with the American people, you can be as passionate as you want, and it's still not going to work. And this health care plan is going to pull the president down over the coming months. Back to you.
Frank, panel, thank you. We'll be back to you momentarily.